Well, it's time for our union report. And here's our president's statement, Mr. John Hunt. My name is Jonathan Hunt, and I am the president business representative of Amalgamated Transit Union Division 757, where Mr. Wallace was financial secretary from 1977 until 2007. In his capacity as financial secretary treasurer, Mr. Wallace embezzled over $450,000 from auxiliary accounts administered by the union. The resulting damage only begins with the loss of this money. There exists at least the possibility that the union will be compensated for these funds. The union will never be compensated for the hours in which Mr. Wallace's focus was on embezzling from, rather than representing, his union brothers and sisters. Full-time officers, as Mr. Wallace was and I am, is not an 8-hour day job. It is a full-time career. And while we are fortunate enough to hold office, it must be our first priority. Time spent stealing from the union is money, as well as time stolen from the union. Not surprisingly, union affairs were left in utter disarray as Mr. Wallace devoted himself to embezzling and painstaking concealment of his crimes. During the years he was embezzling, Mr. Wallace was simultaneously providing erroneous information about the status of our accounts to the state, incurring additional penalties that we are still uncovering. The union has been forced to pay for multiple accountants and lawyers to represent us in the wake of this law. Copious staff time and energy as well has been lost to investigating and assessing the details and extent of Mr. Wallace's crime, and then attempted explanations and accounting to the appropriate state and federal officials. Lost compensation additionally includes the cost of our 2 interim financial secretary treasurers so the union could continue operating during the crisis. It includes the expense of an extra election to fill Mr. Wallace's office and the cost of training a new financial secretary. Less tangible but more devastating harm has been done to the union's reputation and the reputation of those that are part of it. Although Mr. Wallace operated entirely on his own, his crimes were committed over such a long period of time that affected so many different aspects of the union that many feel that this could not have happened without other officers or staff knowing and permitting it, if not downright colluding it. Though exonerated through investigation, doubts linger. We are hobbled in our ability to adequately represent members who no longer trust us. Mr. Wallace's actions have affected people that are not even members of our union. We have already lost organizing campaigns because this was the first weapon new management brings up in their campaigns against the union. Our tragedy has been a boon to management in their efforts to convince their employees, rather than to protect them, a union wants only to steal from them. There are workers who do not have better wages, benefits, and adequate health care because of Mr. Wallace's done. Our union suffers as well, as it is our members that we derive our strength and influence. The union understands that we can never fully be compensated for the losses we've sustained as a result of Mr. Wallace's actions, nor do we believe that his crimes were undertaken without malice. We are discouraged, however, by what has transpired since Mr. Wallace's crimes were uncovered in February. While we have been shaken to the core, scrambling to resume everyday business, Mr. Wallace has returned to work, where he is, somewhat ironically, protected by his union. He works while our devastated union struggles to prevent members guilty of far less severe transgressions from being terminated. That is interesting. In his communications and emails to the union, he intersperses statements of remorse with haggling over the amount of money he should repay. For a repentant man, Mr. Wallace has a keen sense of what he may be owed by the union he has violated. Mr. Wallace was liked and highly regarded by many people. He received a generous salary to represent the best interests of our members and inspired enough faith and confidence that he was reelected 3 times before his actions were discovered. Meanwhile, he lied and embezzled funds from those he called brother and sister in the union he was sworn to protect and defend, and he betrayed those of us who believe we had a friend and brother in him. Mr. Wallace made the decision to embezzle not only once, but nearly 200 times, over the span of many years, many transactions, and many elections. Our members' faith in the institution that represents them is gone, as well as our own faith in our capacity and good judgment. We are not looking to court for vengeance, but for justice. We are reminded daily of all we have lost by Mr. Wallace's actions, and we cannot move on if his sentence does not reflect the extent of our loss. We ask the court for a sentence that not only addresses the money taken from the accounts, but also one that recognizes the emotional and financial impact of Mr. Wallace's actions will be felt by our members, our union, and the entire labor movement for years to come. Our Vice President, Mr. Sam Schwartz. Snow and more snow, the worst snowstorm in 40 years. The drivers fought through the ice and snow and made it in. Amen. One operator told me it took him 2.5 hours just to get in, and for all his trouble, he was snowbound in a bus, stuck in a snowdrift for 16 hours. Yes, it's the truth, folks. This cannot happen, you say. Well, it did happen, and it happened to many operators. Our brothers and sisters in C-Tran had paratransit operators pick up fixed route operators that couldn't get in. We have to do a better job next time and have a real plan that includes food, bathrooms, and a comfortable place to sleep. As you are probably aware by now, TriMet, Salem, and Lane Transit are all talking cuts. I am working with the scheduling departments at both TriMet and Lane in hopes of a fix that will satisfy both the districts and the union members. The union will do everything in its power to prevent layoff of any member. We are in negotiations with Wheels and Salem, and the Salem members are looking at the contract that is in place. Thank you, Sam. From our treasurer, Yvette, I am working on our 6-month and 1-year audits with our local CPAs, Herman and Lindsay. The local office is also working on nailing down some dates for the upcoming union election season, which, believe it or not, is only 4.5 months away. Whatever your political position in either the recent election or our upcoming local election, it's not difficult to be excited what the future holds. Also, keep in mind that tax season is upon us. If you received any child elder care reimbursement in 2008, your federal tax form 1099 will be in the mail soon. Mr. Bruce Hanson, candidate for president and our Merlot representative. Well, we made it through the first snowstorm of the winter. Great job to all drivers, mechanics, rail operators, dispatchers, station agents, controllers, and helpers, as well as the trainers and road supervisors for dealing with the long hours. I would like to point out that in these stressful times, it's easy to become more tense with our co-workers. Please just remember to take your time and space yourself out at the end of the line, and don't run on top of each other. Don't spin your tires, as that is when you are more likely to throw your chains. Take your time and stay high on the road. Stay away from the curb. Again, great job for everyone. If you have any input to help things run smoother, let your union rep know so we can all help each other improve service. Let management know how they can make it better for us employees. They screwed the public. Don't let them screw us too next time. If you are stuck on your bus or train for more than a reasonable time, please call your union representative. We may be able to help get what you need, whether it is sand or a chain crew. I would also like to thank Sam and John for helping take stuck drivers hot coffee and food during a storm. This is what it's all about, helping out where we can. We are working on schedules. If you have a bad one, please let me know as soon as you can. We are looking at 52, 76, and 78. We have been able to get some help for 78 by adding a bus as a tripper with your help. We're going to go around to all the garages working on the worst ones first. So any help you can give us would be appreciated. We really need your input since you are the ones driving these routes. This will help make it a smoother process. I would like to talk a little about what we are facing at TriMet concerning the upcoming contract. It's hard to believe it is that time already. In the next couple of months, you will see a survey to help your union reps know what is important to you, the member. Please take the time to fill it out. Well, I can tell you what's important to me. Just keep what we got. We don't need any raises or anything like that. Just keep what we got. Please take the time and fill it out. In a time of such need, we should rally together and get involved. We cannot do it without you. Remember, you are the union. Speak your voice. January 9th, we say goodbye to Warren Rucky. Rucky spent many hours playing pool at the Merlot Garage. And on January 10th, we say goodbye to Charles Havens, former bus rail operator. On January 11th, we said goodbye to a dear friend, Ken Olds. Kenny touched many people you may not have known. He always had a smile and a wave for everyone. They will all be missed. Please remember to drive the schedule and don't let the schedule drive you. And take your breaks.